Danganronpa.
Check your bullets.
Alright, so, Monokuma. Victims.
Click on it. Get it.
Victims were Hifumi Yamada and Kiyotasha Ishimaru. Cause of death for each was a blow to the head. It is thought that they were both killed with a similar weapon. That's all I got? Blue tarp. Tarp was found in the repository under Kiyotaku's lifeless body. It was apparently used to move Kiyotaku in order to avoid leaving any bloodstains. The dolly was found in the body was rediscovered in the repository. Specific dolly has no handles, and the blood was found on one of its wheels. It is assumed this is the same dolly that was in the equipment room where the Kiyotaku's body was originally stolen. Fumi's glasses were cleaned! Spotless hammer. Ooh, I forgot about spotless hammer. Hammers of all shapes and sizes were found in the repository. One of them was found wet and had apparently been recently washed. Interesting. Repository door. The door connecting the art room to the repository was designed to be open only from the repository side. According to Aoi, it was locked during the search for the missing body. However, when the body was rediscovered, it had somehow been unlocked. Equipment room bloodstain. The tire track, and I know this. Glasses cleaning cloth. Cloth was found in the trash can in the nurse's office. It is braided with a popular cartoon character that was found with blood. I don't even know who this is.
It's not popular enough, not mainstream enough for me to know who this
too
character is.
indie. I just wonder if someone used to make that blood. Celeste account. Okay. Hifumi's body disappeared when Celeste and Aoi left the nurse's office to use the bathroom.
Her name is 3 vowels, and it's really hard to
It is. I liked when we call her Hina.
Hina's very simple.
Can I just?
You're just gonna mentally replace.
I'm just gonna verbally replace it with Hina if that's okay with everybody, because she.
No one can stop you.
Yeah. Apparently, they weren't gone for more than a minute or two. Meet in the dining hall. This is the note that Yashihiro wrote to get everyone to meet in the dining hall. Meet in the dining hall is all it says. The handwriting is remarkably neat and clear. Also, I don't know that that's his handwriting. Not sure. Robo Justice. Blueprints. Blueprints found in Yashihiro's room. Costume. No one but Yashihiro could have possibly fit into the costume. Anyone wearing it would not be able to see their feet or bend at the waist more than 90 degrees, which means that the freaking dolly would not have worked in the Robo Hero Justice costume because he couldn't get out of it. Yashihiro received a mysterious note last night. Found a hole. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m. Broken wristwatch at 6. Scrap of paper, note Hifumi had, e-handbook. It is believed that no handbooks were involved in carrying out the murders this time. Interesting. Why did we mention it? Let's look at our presents!
Check your skills and see if there's any. You might have some new skills you can equip.
Are all of these
Those are
reserved?
yes.
I'm not friends with enough people.
Didn't do enough friendship.
I'm sorry. Whew. Okay. I'm gonna probably skip through all of my bad timing of buttons. I'll do my best. I need to remember what like slowing down and speeding up is.
I think you can check the controls once you're in it.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results.
Now I said I was gonna need a refresh, but I think that's enough.
If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment.
Yes.
But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with...
We already know who did it.
No, we don't, Hina.
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit. Don't try and deny it. You killed them.
Look at her freaking pointy hair.
She's so angry.
Someone knocked me out. I was asleep the whole time. I don't know anything about it.
I just want to say, I think we've done pretty good with the voices.
I think my hero voice is choice.
Yeah.
It's the only one I'm confident in. So it's the only one I'm going to say I'm proud of.
Yeah.
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hero, but we do have evidence. Blueprint for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it, and all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know. I don't know.
For anything else, we need to make this clear. Okay. Yashiro's message.
That's all you got.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff. It's not true. It's a conspiracy.
Hero, why? Why did you kill them?
No, just hold on.
Okay,
a
so it's
second.
blueprints. Okay, so it is his handwriting.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof.
You!
No, that's wrong! Freaking liar. Hold on.
Are we sure Hero really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
This bitch lying. She
Well,
lying.
take a look at this. It's the note that Hero wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hero's the culprit?
And he is not the only one. I think Hero's innocent as well.
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit?
Hero.
Is it like Hero said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
No.
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
Go ahead. Here you go.
What? Hold on.
Serve it up for you.
Who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
Hero was. No, Hero was in the Robo-Justice costume. He just didn't do it. The one.
The Illuminati.
It was Hero.
Other than Hero, I can't think of anyone else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit, and we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hero is the prime suspect.
No.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said
Y'all talking in
Hero didn't
circles.
do
I
it.
don't understand.
I don't want donuts. Not murder.
This makes perfect sense. Hero was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
He's been framed.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
There we go.
What? Now that's a bold assumption.
Nope.
And what reason
bold
do you have
fact.
to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
The boy.
Stop trying to boss us around.
No, let him do it.
All things have a proper order.
So
And I am
what is
first
it?
in that order.
What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless
Y'all
body.
already know it's the Dolly. Dolly Parton up in here. Let's go Pigeon Forge up in here. That's what I'm talking about.
It seems
I don't know what that was, and I apologize.
particular items. Makoto, can you tell us what they were?
I know. They must have been the blue tart.
Is that key item?
Here's one. Still one more thing.
What else?
Dolly Parton, squish your fingers.
You know?
Dolly Parton, squish your finger. Here.
They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
Don't me.
So, let's see if I can explain.
Why'd you me?
Like,
Because
Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository.
me.
he just hates you, I guess.
He asked me a question.
Come
And
on.
when we found it
Really?
for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right?
Don't answer me like. Don't
It was
answer
the
my
same
question
tarp
with a
that Up
question.
until then, was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tar. And the dolly?
Same thing.
Freaking bloodstains on it, bro.
I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body.
Look at it. It's over there all warped.
Weird perspective.
Yeah, look at that perspective.
Because we're meant to see it from the other side.
Somebody took its bounding box and moved the corners all wanky.
But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository,
Dolly was there too.
so did the dolly.
That's
So
crazy.
the dolly did it.
The dolly did it.
The dolly
We
pulled
found
out
our
a knife.
suspect.
You think they used the dolly to move the body, am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body?
Because it got blood on it.
That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along?
You
and
freaking
simply
trying to
didn't realize
throw me off my case and you're not gonna do it, Celeste.
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
I
It's
gotta
just
wait.
like, he has no stakes in this.
He
He's like,
just wants an
"Come on,
interesting
Makoto."
case.
There is no
What
shame
are you
in
gonna
being
do?
wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway.
oh dang.
Bitch.
We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on
Oh,
around you.
Bitch! I have solved every single one of these cases on my own with Makoto's help.
Or,
Kyoko, I'm Makoto. Shut up. I'm not stupid. I've never had anyone sound so nice while being so mean. And with the dolly must have been moved from the equipment room to the repository. Moment of truth. Oh.
You have
Wait,
it wrong.
we just put these in wherever.
I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you.
Oh.
Now change up your
You
rhythm.
miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your
Close
worst.
enough.
You miserable wretch. I cannot agree.
Shoot.
This should prove it.
Trying to trick me? Look at that composure, though.
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched
Y'all
the
can't
dolly
see, but I'm
wheel's
moving my
tread.
hands.
I don't know what she's meant to indicate by this motion,
The
but
killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room.
Sloppy. I wouldn't have done that if I had murdered somebody.
personally, if I had murdered someone, I would have just not left any clues.
And as the
Personally.
blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository.
I'm just thinking of all of the girl I went to high school that was like, yeah, I know how to murder people. Like, I know how to murder you multiple ways. Because I watch a lot of crime fiction. Or, like crime shows. So, I know how to murder you, and nobody would. I can get away with it. And I was like, okay, cool.
So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
She hate me that much.
Well,
I thought we
anyway.
were friends.
That was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then what kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that really matters.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
Yep. The person couldn't have done it.
What does that mean?
Oh, come on. I just...
You-
I have
yeah.
all the pieces together. They just have to make it a little bit...
This is costume.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room.
Yeah.
And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
God dang it. What? Don't scare me like that.
Shoot!
Oh no, they don't love me anymore. Should I just wait and see the whole thing?
You'll.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room.
You
And
should.
from there, the body
If
was
you
moved
wanna
to the
read the whole thing.
repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over.
Then move. No! This was the right place for me to stop.
You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
No.
What
I don't
do you
think so.
mean?
Think back to
literally-
what you said when we were
you
all
literally
checking
said
out the suit
so.
on you. Remember?
I'm blind as a bat. Can't see my feet. I'm surprised you're not going in. You got anywhere.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you totally can't bend at the wings.
When you're in
I
that
did say
suit,
that.
not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist.
Wait.
Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Celeste, come on.
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's
Thinking.
very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
Can't get out of the suit by himself. Go. No chance that costume. Once it's on,
Never take it off.
I can't take it off by yourself.
I don't think taking
Yeah,
off the
that's our
suit was
help.
an option. If you remember,
Well, she doesn't remember. She wasn't here.
Make something you can't take off by yourself. I didn't make this stupid. Costume back. I'm getting it off. Very sturdy. That is like just. Gosh. It's helping.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hero wasn't just making it up?
No.
Of course I wasn't
You-
making it up.
You saw it,
he
Hina.
could have gotten it
You
off
were
by
there.
himself. I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So-
totally.
It's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
I done told you.
To be clear,
what we've been
whoever
saying.
did move the body, it couldn't have been Hero in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took?
No, I did not. No, I did not.
You
You
all
drugged
said
my
you would.
man.
Did you
Put him
not?
in a suit.
The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that?
Y'all drugged me. And I ain't
Besides,
gonna
do you
do
remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
Justice. Or that's what I decided to call him just now.
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question.
We have already discredited that line of thinking.
The
Bam.
individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hiro, without a doubt.
No!
Yeah. Yeah, that's gotta be right.
You know,
Hold on a
Tina
second.
is so dumb. I am not gonna keep doing this with y'all. I have already given you the
It's
facts.
far too early to reach that conclusion.
Thank you. No, it's
And no,
I mean,
it's
it
far
is.
too late to reach that conclusion.
yes.
There's no
Stop
hurry to decide
backpedaling.
who did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility?
Yes.
Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was
That's
when
right.
everything went down.
You want to tell us something,
All
Dave?
right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it was Robo Justice.
I hate how serious we say it.
It also soon became clear that this same Robo Justice had abducted Hifumi.
All I'm saying is that looks staged.
But
We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect.
While we were down there.
But not long after leaving the nurse's office,
Celeste comes up after killing Taka. So shadow. Moving at the top of the stairs.
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
She's just dragging us around, little puppeteer. Ah, he's that way. Ah, he's that way. Everybody, ignore Hifumi so that he can pour blood on himself. Come this way. Pay attention over here. Look where it's like a magician.
do not look behind you.
Misdirection. Nothing up my sleeve. Walking the stairs. Turn down the hallway and disappear. Right into the
And
area
then-
where I want you to go. Alright. That came from downstairs. Distract everybody. He's in the nurse's office. He poured blood on his head.
at that point we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi dead.
Dead.
And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor to let the others know what had happened.
meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time.
Yeah, we're so quiet.
Yeah, well,
There's
I mean,
not
there's nothing to add. It's
Yeah.
I don't have any funny commentary to add over the explanation of events for
No.
the third time.
Because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his
This-
body.
I mean, this is just one of those Let's Plays.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. You know why you're here.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the three of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us. And she told us something very surprising.
again, she just keeps stringing us along. The body's gone. How did that happen? That's crazy.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again.
And then got it moved. Use Nautilus or something. And we put Taka.
But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing.
I'm telling you.
Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after some time,
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository. Which
This
is
woman
where we
is too
rediscovered the
convenient.
corpses.
You keep how do you keep doing this? Same.
I think that about covers it.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated. It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
I don't know. I was off.
I-
I didn't get a chance to investigate like anything.
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation.
Yes.
And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
Mm-hmm. No matter what. Gosh, every time it does this, I'm like, I gotta pay attention.
Now sit up and play the game. What a cool file of a tree.
Kill 2, hit in the head.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
I bet it was
makes
that.
you say that?
Right?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
That's not it. Sorry! Hina, I'm sorry! Shoot!
No.
Dang! No! I'm gonna mess up.
So, regarding Taka's death,
Is it, which
It's
one is
circle.
Wonder if he died, or perhaps it was. We already know what Taka came. What makes you say? Because of the numbering of the.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka
So it's
came
the order.
after.
Okay.
so, regarding I wonder if he died before, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in.
What? Those were the only.
You can don't forget you can also pick up one of the 2 phrases and shoot it again. With if you hold triangle, you can
What do you mean?
So,
hover over one of the
regarding
2
Taka's
weak points and
I
hold
wonder
triangle,
if he died
Okay.
and you'll
before
make a new
Hifumi,
bullet.
or perhaps it was after?
Okay.
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
No, that's wrong. That's wrong, though. Sorry about that. Gaming is hard.
There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers.
It's true.
If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
His freaking watch, bro. Oh, I
Now
don't.
spell it.
Watch. Wrist watch. You're gonna make. Do I have to spell it in order?
Yes.
I'm literally sitting here trying to remember how to spell.
Yeah.
What if I needed that? There it is! Wristwatch. I
Now
got
I
it.
understand.
I've seen the secrets of the universe. My friend. It is
Got it. Papa's wristwatch. See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night,
Point at my wristwatch.
10 o'clock. Bedtime for little boys and girls.
It's 10 o'clock and I know that because
so
I'm
if it
wearing a
wasn't broken after
watch.
6
That's
last
not
night,
broken.
then he must have been
Freaking
attacked
don't
around
use your
6 this
phone.
morning.
And
They
that
wouldn't
would
let
be
you
his
have
official
phones in
time
here.
of
No.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before
Yes,
Hifumi.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
death. And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer.
Celeste over
and
there
had them
like,
increase
I gotta
in
figure
size.
out which direction. I gotta figure out.
That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
We got alibis.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder. But all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
Are we all just forgetting the fact that he literally did come alive for a couple seconds to say, it was Hiro? Ugh, I lay on a girl's lap. Are we all forgetting that fact? Huh? What was that? Came from downstairs. It was just it was in the office.
When we heard Hifumi screaming, we were all together. Except for Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body. That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing. Oh, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway. In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or
Don't
we'll
worry about
just
that.
keep going
Don't-
around in circles.
shut up. Everybody ignore me.
So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
He walked by himself.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing. And according to what Celeste said,
Not been gone for a minute, more than a minute or two. Killer would get in, move in a short amount of time.
His body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
Let me hear it, honey.
What? How? If the dead body were to move itself.
There we go. Finally, somebody that knows what's going on.
What?
I'm the main character.
The dead body
I want to play as
moved
Kyoko.
on its own?
Well, that would be no fun because he would just know the answer going into it.
Not another...
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is, we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
He was alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Was he though?
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
Was he though?
That it isn't possible.
No. Shut up.
No, not that.
Is it really possible? Do none of us remember? Alright, I have no idea what I'm so worried I'm gonna mess this up and we're gonna have to go through the whole thing again.
Are you saying that when we first found
I'm just not
Hifumi
gonna
in the
hit it
nurse's
first.
office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
Not it.
No, it is impossible.
Shut up.
Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
No.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Huh. For broken wristwatch?
And you can also take one of those and shoot it at another one. So is there anything in that conversation that you can shoot at something else? Because I don't think broken wristwatch fits in.
Okay, so
Are you saying that when we first
You just gotta find the
found
right
Hifumi
combination.
in the nurse's
Stay.
office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No. It is Hifumi was dead.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement. Hifumi's
Dead body had been found.
And that is why the announcement was made.
I think you've got it backwards.
Are we really so sure?
So I
about
need to
that?
get
Yeah,
this one.
shoot.
Maybe the announcement was intended to
steal this
signal someone else's discovery.
Alright, now.
Okay, cool.
Are you saying that when we first found there's a chance he...
No. Hifumi was dead.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's
Dead body had been found.
No, it's wrong.
Cool.
Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Wench!
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Well, it was at the same time that we...
But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man.
No, it did.
Asking if you were a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty. He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery
Yeah,
announcement
we
twice.
did. Each body in the nurse's office. Was it just after? It was when they were rediscovered.
I think it's that one.
I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository when we rediscovered the two bodies.
No,
It's not. It's supposed to be ding dong, bing bong.
I thought Ding Dong Bing Bong was still in the when it's morning.
That's fair. So I really like the last one.
It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
Then in reality, when the two dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
His freaking glasses.
Had to clean his glasses.
Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom!
That is the worst logic I have ever heard. But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
This man has freaking weed
Okay
syndrome.
then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is pointless.
Guilt. 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 You're getting eaten up by guilt. Okay. I'm just gonna let it play through the first time without making any edits, and then I'm gonna think about it. Because I just really don't want to risk shooting the wrong thing.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned,
That's it.
there was no notable difference.
Yeah, sometimes you
Easy.
can just shoot it.
You know what? Easy. I was gonna wait, but easy.
In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses.
His glasses.
Glasses.
You forgot about his glasses.
You can't see what there is. Glasses.
That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood. But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can.
This funny rag.
This one.
I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I
I'm
think.
surprised you remembered that.
I'm very angry.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
Unless. Celeste, are you a secret weeb?
I see your point. And the only people here who wear
That's the
glasses
real
are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is...
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
Yeah, it's perfectly logical.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
And it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet.
That is an interesting sound.
And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse
Nice.
becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
Copious Court sounds like a cool band name.
But then,
That's a nice
if he
metal
was
thing.
just pretending to be dead,
Where'd all the blood come from?
what was with all that blood?
It was in the refrigerator.
Paint or
It was.
No, it was real blood.
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies.
Oh, he didn't even let me
He
use
probably
that.
used one of those.
Thanks.
That didn't even make a truth one, by the way. You just found it on your own.
He just dumped it everywhere. But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done. Oh, what an idiot.
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
Robo Justice.
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
Uh-huh.
The door was locked?
Yeah.
After the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi,
What
who
an
just
angle.
finished stabbing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
Murder.
I just can't believe it.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
Yes, please. Yes, queen.
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto?
Freaking
Item he took off of
handwriting.
Taka's lifeless body.
Still from Taka is... He took this.
I got it! You're talking about
I'm
the
getting
note
my heart
Hifumi
back.
had hidden away,
Yeah.
aren't you?
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his pants?
I knew she was gonna say something.
Yes, his pants.
Ah, yes, I see.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
Now the whole maybe he was escape. We'll find out. I'm telling you. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
No. Honey, it's written different. It says a different place and a different time.
I didn't
honey.
read it wrong.
In
It's
other
just-
words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And
Who?
that person could only have been...
Hifumi's pants.
That's right! Taka!
Duh!
The killer
yes.
used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy!
I like her nicknames.
Yeah, they're very concise.
Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right?
Oh, yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Anyway, can't let her get to me. Because I had that scrap of paper. Oh, come on.
Now you get more bullets.
Oh, no. This is gonna suck. Alright, everybody, bear with me.
The note, right?
Do you remember how to switch?
Then the person it was intended for
There you go.
must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
No, that's wrong.
Got it. Just doing it.
No, there absolutely is a connection.
Shut up.
What the hell are you talking about?
Shut up.
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered.
That.
Ain't that funny? Ain't that a coincidence?
We've already proven that using his wristwatch.
Ain't that just the way?
But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Where he was murdered?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note.
That's wild.
I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way out.
This man.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely, Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
Come on.
You can do it.
Easy. 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 Easy.
I got it!
This.
When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper.
Kyoko kind of found that, but you can
If
take
I'm
credit
right
for it.
about this.
She's not saying anything.
She's just
She could very easily say, hey,
here's
we found look, I found a scrap of paper in his hand. She ain't speaking up. She wants me to do it. She's literally gonna be like, go ahead, Luca. Go.
You do it.
Come on. You can
Come
do
on.
it. I trust you.
I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
I didn't try this until this moment.
I just assumed.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive.
No.
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository, so he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, He must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
Who put me in a freaking suit?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right?
It was that other hammer.
So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it.
Yep.
But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Be nice to him. He's trying.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
I put wood chips in there. Keep it rattling around.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
I can't think of it. We should just ignore
which
this.
hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Then,
I don't know.
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
What could it be?
Oh, come on. I just want you to... I have all the pieces. I hate having to find a lie. Oh, there we go. Spotless hammer.
Here's a
It
nice
would have had
easy one.
blood on it.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3?
No.
Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
No.
well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How
Yeah.
was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Wow.
Well,
Can we go to that website?
I don't
The
know.
murder weapon had to be
That
one
seems
of
like
the
something-
Justice Hammers.
That seems like something you would not want on your social street.
No, it's wrong. The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
It was a
But-
regular hammer.
Seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean. And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder.
Murder mystery.
If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones,
Some as big as your head.
and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him. Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
At least that's what we thought first. Yeah. Wait a minute. I don't know what my argument is. Spotless hammer. Okay, I'm gonna have to.
Probably gonna have to. Yeah.
Steal. I'm just gonna let this one.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
No.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
I think that's the one I need, and then the impossible.
Yeah. I think that's right.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us,
Circle.
even if more than one only the one who actually, assuming the rule holds true.
That is.
But that only really in this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person, only the one who actually carried out the act can assuming the rule holds true. It is simply
No, it's wrong. Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime.
Come on.
Just by creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it.
Gamble.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful.
Who could do that?
Who could be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
That was the main characteristic. Kyoko must have noticed the fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events but entirely separate episodes. Kyoko is amazing, although she's almost too amazing. It's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved. But then, who was the one pulling Hifumi's string?
Who do you think?
That's problem numero uno right now.
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions and in the end murdered. In the debates up to now, the way the case is unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seems to fit.
Who did it?